9 fastest American muscle cars out off the 1970s. 1970s are often called the era when muscle cars started to die. But the truth is, a few American monsters were still brutally fast from 0 to 60. From the Chevelle SS to the Hemi Cuda, these cars weren't just quick, they were pure intimidation on wheels. Let's start the countdown. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. Some cars don't need an introduction, they need a warning. And the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6 was exactly that kind of machine. It looked like a classic muscle coupe, but under the hood it carried one of the most aggressive factory engines America ever put on the street. The LS6 was Chevrolet's ultimate version of the 454 cubic inch big block V8. Officially, it was rated at 450 horsepower, but anyone who understands the era knows those numbers were conservative. What mattered was the torque, a deep, violent shove that hit instantly, like the car was trying to tear the pavement loose. This wasn't a high-revving sports engine. This was raw American force. In a straight line, the Chevelle LS6 was terrifyingly fast for its time. When launched properly, it could reach 0 to 60 miles per hour in the mid 5-second range. And that's with 1970s tires, suspension, and braking. Put modern rubber on it, and the story gets even crazier. But the most dangerous part of the LS6 Chevelle was how normal it looked. No wild wings, no futuristic styling. Just a clean, muscular body, a subtle SS badge, and that wide stance that hinted something wasn't right. It was the kind of car you could pull up beside at a red light and not realize you were looking at a monster. Inside, it was pure old-school muscle, a simple dash, a driver-focused layout, and a feeling that the car existed for one purpose: acceleration. 8. 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. There are muscle cars that were built to be popular, and then there are muscle cars that were built to be legends. The 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda belongs in the second category. A car so rare, so violent, and so iconic that even its silhouette feels like a threat. At the heart of the Hemi Cuda was Chrysler's 426 cubic inch Hemi V8, an engine that didn't just make power. It delivered it with a kind of brutality that modern cars try to simulate with electronics. The factory rating was 425 horsepower, but the real magic was in the way it pulled. The throttle response felt instant, and the torque came in like a hammer. This wasn't a car you drove casually. And when it came to acceleration, the 1970 Hemi Cuda was one of the fastest street-legal machines America offered. In the right hands, it could run 0 to 60 miles per hour in the mid 5-second range, which is insane when you remember this was 1970, with old suspension geometry and tires that would be considered unsafe today. What made the Cuda even more special was how perfectly the body matched the attitude. Wide, aggressive, and low, it looked like a predator even when parked. The shaker hood, the bold stance, and the sharp front end gave it a personality that felt angry, like it was built to intimidate before it even moved. Inside, it was simple, tight, and focused. The cabin didn't try to feel luxurious. Everything about it reminded you that this car existed for one purpose: speed. And once the Hemi started breathing, every gear change felt like the car was trying to break free. 7. 1970 Dodge Challenger RT 426 Hemi. Imagine walking into a dealership in 1970 and being offered a street car with an engine designed to dominate drag strips. That's exactly what the Dodge Challenger RT 426 Hemi was. A factory-built muscle car that felt like it had no business being legal. Under the hood sat Chrysler's legendary 426 Hemi V8, an engine that became famous because it didn't behave like a normal road motor. It was loud, heavy, and brutally direct. Rated at 425 horsepower with around 490 pound-feet of torque, it delivered power in a way that felt almost mechanical. No smooth buildup, no gentle curve. When the throttle opened, the Challenger didn't accelerate, it launched. With the right setup and traction, could hit 0 to 60 in the mid 5-second range, putting it among the fastest American cars of the decade. And what makes that more impressive is the Challenger's size. It wasn't the lightest car in the muscle world. It was wide, long, and built like a real Grand Tour, which means its speed felt even more shocking. The car carried weight, but the Hemi made it feel like weight didn't matter. The driving experience was pure intimidation. The idle had that deep, uneven aggression, and every throttle input felt like it was waking up something dangerous. Even at half throttle, it had enough torque to break traction and remind you what kind of engine you were dealing with. Visually, the Challenger carried a different kind of confidence compared to its rivals. It wasn't flashy in a cheap way. It looked muscular, expensive, and heavy, like a performance car designed for people who wanted power with presence. The hood, the stance, and the deep body lines made it look like it could bully traffic without even moving. And that's why the Hemi Challenger became more than a muscle car. It became a warning. The 1970s weren't the end of muscle cars. They were the last warning shot. 6. 1970 Pontiac GTO Judge Ram Air 4. Not every fast muscle car was built to look serious. Some were built to look like a joke until they left everyone behind. And that's exactly the vibe of the 1970 Pontiac GTO Judge with the Ram Air 4 package. Bright colors, wild graphics, and performance that was anything but playful. The Judge was Pontiac's way of proving that a muscle car could have personality and still be deadly quick. It wasn't just a trim level, it was a statement. A car designed to stand out, to make people laugh, and then to make them regret laughing. And that attitude matched the way it drove. Under the hood, the Ram Air 4 400 V8 was the real weapon. On paper, it didn't sound as massive as the big block monsters from Chevy or Mopar, but the Ram Air 4 was all about breathing. High flow heads, aggressive cam timing, and a free revving nature gave it a sharp, angry character that felt more race-inspired than street-focused. It didn't feel like a lazy cruiser engine. It felt like it wanted to be pushed. When launched properly, a 1970 GTO Judge, Ram Air 4 could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in the low to mid 6-second range, depending on transmission and traction. That may not sound like the fastest on this list, but here's what made it special. The GTO didn't just accelerate, it felt alive. It pulled hard through the gears, and the power delivery had a punchy, high-energy style that made it feel quicker than the stopwatch sometimes showed. And visually, the Judge was unforgettable. The bold stripes, the rear spoiler, the hood-mounted tack, and that aggressive stance made it one of the most recognizable muscle cars ever produced. It didn't hide what it was, it announced it. Inside, the experience was classic Pontiac. Driver-focused, solid, and built for people who actually enjoy the act of driving. It wasn't about luxury, it was about feel, the sound, the vibration, the instant response. The Judge proved something simple. Being the fastest isn't what makes a car legendary. Being unforgettable does. And the Ram Air 4 sound is still one of the purest signatures of the muscle era. 5. 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1. Some muscle cars look like trouble from a mile away. The 1970 Buick GSX Stage 1 didn't. It showed up with a cleaner, more upscale vibe. The kind of car you'd expect to see parked outside a nice restaurant, not lining up for a street race. And that's exactly why it was so dangerous. Under the hood was Buick's legendary 455 cubic inch big block, but the Stage 1 package turned it into something much more serious. Factory rated at 360 horsepower, the real story was torque, a massive 510 pound-feet. That number wasn't just impressive for 1970, it was absurd. This engine didn't need to rev high to feel fast. It delivered instant shove, like the car was being pushed forward by a giant hand. And what made the Stage 1 even scarier was how effortless it felt. Many muscle cars needed drama, loud revs, aggressive launches, and constant wheel spin to feel quick. The GSX didn't. It just pulled, hard. The torque hit so early that even casual throttle could feel like a full commitment. The GSX Stage 1 could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in the mid 5-second range when launched properly. That put it right in the same league as the loudest, most famous muscle cars of the era, and sometimes ahead of them, especially in roll-on power where torque mattered more than traction. From a rolling start the GSX felt almost unfair. Visually, Buick gave the GSX just enough attitude, bold stripes, a mean stance, and hood scoops that hinted it wasn't a normal luxury coupe. But compared to its rivals, it still looked more refined, almost like it was trying to stay polite. That contrast made the performance feel even more shocking. Inside, it still carried Buick's identity, comfortable, solid, and slightly upscale, which meant you could be sitting in a smooth, quiet cabin while the engine was doing something brutal underneath. If you're into rare muscle cars and real performance numbers, you'll like what's coming next. Subscribe. 4 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30. There's a certain kind of muscle car that doesn't try to act wild, it just acts unstoppable. The 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30 is one of those machines. It wasn't the loudest name in the muscle wars, but the people who knew understood one thing. This car was built to pull hard and keep pulling. The secret was Oldsmobile's 455 cubic inch rocket V8, upgraded with the W30 performance package. Factory rated at 370 horsepower and a brutal 500 pound-feet of torque, it was one of the strongest street combinations of the era. And unlike some engines that needed high RPM to feel exciting, the 442 delivered power instantly, thick, heavy torque that made the car feel like it was being launched by pure force. When it came to real acceleration, the 1974 42W30 could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in the mid 5-second range, depending on tires, gearing, and driver skill. That placed it right beside the most famous big block legends. And the scary part was how easy it made speed feel. It simply surged forward, smooth and relentless. Visually, the W30 had a tough, purposeful look. The hood scoops, the stance, and the aggressive front end gave it muscle without going over the top. It looked like a serious performance car, but still carried that Oldsmobile maturity, the kind of car a grown man would buy and then secretly destroy everyone with. Inside, it felt solid and heavy, with a cockpit that emphasized control. It wasn't a lightweight racer. It was a street bruiser built to dominate with torque and traction. No drama, no excuses, just one clean launch, and the race is already over. This is the decade where power got restricted, and a few cars still refuse to behave. 3. 1970 Ford Torino Cobra 429 Super Cobra Jet. Most people think Ford's 1970 performance story begins and ends with the Mustang. But if you wanted a real straight-line monster, Ford had something bigger, meaner, and way more overlooked. The 1970 Torino Cobra with the 429 Super Cobra Jet. This wasn't a pretty muscle car. It was a heavy, aggressive fastback built for one job: acceleration. Under the hood sat Ford's 429 cubic inch big block V8, and when you ordered the Super Cobra Jet package, you were basically getting Ford's drag race upgrade straight from the factory. Officially, the engine was rated at 375 horsepower, but the SCJ setup was famously underrated. Torque figures were around 450 pounds-feet, and the way it delivered power felt violent and immediate. The Torino's size made its performance even more impressive. With the right traction, the 429 SCJ Torino Cobra could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in the low 6-second range, and some tests showed even quicker runs under ideal conditions. That's crazy for a car that looked like it belonged in the big coupe category rather than the street racer category. What made the Torino Cobra special wasn't just speed, it was presence. The long hood, wide body, and muscular roofline made it look like a highway enforcer. It didn't need wild graphics or flashy styling. It looked like it could eat smaller cars alive, and in many cases it did. Inside, it was classic Ford muscle, simple gauges, a driver-first layout, and a feeling that the car was built to handle real power. It wasn't a luxury cruiser, it was a big body weapon with a drag strip heart, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Most people don't see it coming until it's already gone. 2. 1971 Plymouth GTX 446 pack. If the Hemi was Chrysler's crown jewel, the 446 pack was the street fighter that actually showed up and did the dirty work. And in 1971, the Plymouth GTX with the 446 pack was one of the last times Mopar offered that kind of unapologetic factory violence. The GTX already had a reputation as Plymouth's premium muscle car, bigger, smoother, and more refined than a Roadrunner. But once you selected the six-pack setup, refinement became secondary. Under the hood sat a 440 cubic inch big block V8 breathing through three two-barrel carburetors. Factory rated at 385 horsepower, it produced around 490 pound-feet of torque, and the delivery felt exactly like you'd expect: instant, heavy, and relentless. The 446 pack didn't need high RPM drama. It made its point with torque, the kind that could shove a heavy body car forward like it was weightless. In real-world testing, a well-sorted 1971 GTX 446 pack could hit 0 to 60 miles per hour in the low to mid 6-second range, which is impressive considering the car's size and the fact that the muscle era was already beginning to tighten up. Visually, the 1971 GTX looked muscular without being cartoonish. It had that classic Mopar long hood, aggressive grille, and a stance that made it look planted. It didn't scream race car, but it definitely didn't look harmless either. It had the vibe of a car built for highway domination. Inside, it was classic early 70s muscle comfort. Big seats, a wide cabin, and controls that felt simple and mechanical. No distractions, just the feeling that the engine was always waiting. It was one of the last big-body Mopars that still believed the road belonged to torque, and it drove like it meant it. If you think 1970s cars were slow, this list is about to change your mind. 1. 1970 AMC AMX 390. When people talk about 1970s muscle, they usually name the same three brands. But AMC didn't care about being part of the popular conversation. They cared about building something fast enough to force respect. And the 1970 AMC AMX 390 was exactly that. A compact, aggressive muscle car that hit harder than most people expected. The AMX was smaller than the big body legends, and that was its advantage. Less weight meant the power felt sharper, quicker, and more immediate. Under the hood sat AMC's 390 cubic inch V8, factory rated at 325 horsepower with around 420 pound-feet of torque. On paper, those numbers might not look as insane as the 454s and Hemis, but in a lighter, shorter car, the result was seriously quick acceleration. In real-world performance, the 1970 AMX 390 could reach 0 to 60 miles per hour in the low 6-second range, and the car felt even faster because of how direct it was. It didn't have the long, heavy launch of a full-size muscle coupe. It jumped forward like a brawler throwing the first punch. And because the AMX was compact, the driver felt more connected to everything: the engine noise, the vibration, the tire slip, the shift. Visually, the AMX had its own identity: short wheelbase, muscular lines, and a stance that made it look like a street fighter rather than a luxury coupe. It didn't look like a classic muscle car. It looked like something built to pick fights. Inside, it was simple and tight, with a cockpit feel that made you sit closer to the action. You weren't floating in the car, you were inside it, controlling it. The best part about the AMX is that it never needed hype. That's our list of the 9 fastest American muscle cars of the 1970s, based on 0 to 60. If you enjoyed this countdown, hit like and subscribe for more rare and brutal car lists like this. And drop a comment. Which one of these would you actually drive today? See you in the next video.